Do you need me to do something? Do you need me to do?
You can pour that water out. Nah, don't worry about that. All right. What's y'all? Welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host, Fierce Truth Seeker. The Red Road East is an Indigenous TV program dedicated to archiving and preserving the history, legacy, and culture of the original peoples of the Americas east of the Mississippi River in the Caribbean. Today, or tonight rather, on Misgivings Eve, we have our own harvest festivals, you know, among the various tribes, or should I, yeah, among the various tribes, but, I'm not going to knock anybody who's cooking their turkeys and stuff like that. I'll be nice tonight. But, yeah, let's see, we got two in the building. PNF is in his house. Peace, peace, peace. And I got my good cousin Awanasa in the house. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah. So tonight we are dealing with Moors and Indians, friends or enemies, part 22. Yeah, we're up to 22 now. And man, I thought this discussion would be over, but I still get people in my comment section who want to give the Abo response and critique about Moors and whether Moors are indigenous and the whole Moors are not indigenous talk. First of all, you all who are saying that, see, you're either too young to know or you just started studying a few years ago. You watched a few Dane Calloway videos, which only go back to about 2015. Okay. Um, I've been on YouTube way longer than that. Okay. And I've been walking the red road even before I was on YouTube, about 30 years ago, you know, somewhere near in that range. Not to mention just having knowledge of self in general, you know, going way back before that. So, you guys who are Johnny come lately, you know, you watched a few videos, but you haven't read any books. Okay. And you think you're nice with this, but you're really not. You really, you're not nice with this. Okay. And I also get people making the critique saying, you know, uh, you're not stop with the Indian stuff and all of that type of nonsense. First of all, we all don't have the same history. Okay, genealogy is personal. Okay, number one, I'm not one of you Abo guys who just discovered that you were Indian just a few days ago. Okay, I was born knowing my tribe and all of that. Okay, so we all don't have the same story. Okay, I'm very connected to my heritage. I was born knowing this. You guys just discovered that you were Indigenous or whatever, and you watched a few Dane Calloway videos, and you got hyped up and amped up and all of that, and you think you know something, and you really don't. Okay, all right. What you need to do, you probably need to take my class. Then you'll really get to learn the real history. I don't put out all of the information in these videos. I had many, many years of doing that. And what I found out is that when I put out a lot of information, people take it and they distort the information, they twist the information, okay? And they use it uh, to suit their own narrative and they twist the story. So I don't do that anymore. Now you have to pay for the information. So I put out information in little bits and pieces here and there. Okay. So you're not going to get everything. So a lot of times you'll hear me repeating the same things, you know, often. And I'll give you a little bit of new stuff. Okay. Because, yeah, that's what people do. And a lot of these people are dirty Moors who just latched on to the Aboriginal thing, you know. And I'm not talking about anyone in particular, you know. I'm mainly talking about the people who come to my comment section and start yapping off at the mouth, the flunkies, you know. And so, you know, I that's how I get down these days, you know. Yeah, indigenous means not two genes, meaning not mixed hybrid. Yeah, you know. And a lot of these terms, I just use it for clarity's sake for those who are new, um, and stuff like that. Because a lot of you who are already been out there and knowing this information, I mainly try to cater to those who are, because believe it or not, there's a lot of people who are just coming into this information. You'd be surprised. You assume, oh yeah, people know this stuff already. And I've had people say, nah, they just finding out this stuff, just like recently, and I'm like, really? You know, but yeah, believe it or not, some people are brand new to this, I'll be like, wow, yeah. But yeah, so now with this whole more thing, that really, a lot of these guys who, you know, come to the channel and talk that stuff, you really, when I ask you guys what books you've read on Moors, you be hell pressed to be able to name one book, but yet you're an authority on Moorish history. Okay, how can you be an authority and you haven't read any books? And some of you refuse to read books. I've had people even tell me that they don't need to read books, they just know it. At that point, I just know that I'm talking to a damn fool. you know, if you think you can, first of all, how do you know that the person that you're getting the information from isn't wrong himself or herself? You know, a lot of people, you know, just it's just he say, she say. They heard it from somebody else and they were misinformed. Then they go and they misinform another person and they misinform another person. And then misinformation just becomes viral. And a lot of you all who just started getting into this knowledge like 5 6 years ago, 10 years ago and stuff like that, y'all don't even know that you know all of this, what you call the Aboriginal movement today, it comes directly from the Moors. There was no, all of you guys who are calling yourselves Black Indians and and stuff like that, who are and now calling yourselves Aboriginal and stuff like that. You, your whole paradigm is more science. Sorry to burst your bubble, but that's where it comes from. Now, I'm not saying that there were not individuals uh, who knew certain aspects of this information. Okay, but I'm talking about as a complete paradigm, a whole body of knowledge and school of thought that comes from Moorish science. Okay, and if you don't know that, that's because you're either too young to know, or you were at the time when all this was going down, you were out in the club shaking your ass every weekend like a goddamn fool, with no knowledge of self. Not saying that, it's nothing wrong with dancing and stuff like that. I like all of that, you know. I'm just saying, you know, while a lot of y'all were out there bullshitting, excuse my expression, I was doing the knowledge. Okay. So anyway, uh I'm gonna read off a couple of comments. Let's see here. Let's see, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Find these comments. Let's see. Bear with me. Let me see. Should be in here. Let me see. Share. I'm not gonna call anybody out. I'm not gonna call anybody's name. Wait a minute. Cancel that. Let me see. Okay. So someone says, this is one of the comments. Brother, y'all must stop claiming everything and affixing all. Wait a minute, let me see. Is this the one? Oh wait, nah, that's not the one. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Okay, no, that's not the one. Let me look for it here. Bear with me. Don't go anywhere. I'm just scrolling through these comments. So many of them. Yeah, don't go anywhere because I'm not gonna, I know people are with family and stuff like that tonight. So I'm not gonna hold Y'all, okay, here it is. Someone says, please stop. Even though the original natives were dark, they weren't us. Okay, that's one of the comments. So now, again, you have to speak for yourself because that may be true for you. That's not true for me. I know what tribes I come from, born knowing it. Okay. Now, just because that doesn't apply to you, just because your family, you know, was bullshitting and didn't see it important to keep your family history, don't put that on everybody. Some families, like mine, you know, kept pretty good records. Okay. And me, I played the elders close. I played the elders closely. So, you know, I have a lot of information that even a lot of my own family doesn't have about our family history. I took good notes. Okay. And that's how I know what I know today. Okay. Now, just because you don't know where you come from, don't put that on everybody else. Just because you can't say what tribe or tribes you come from, don't put that on everybody else. You know, just because you are, Black American or African or whatever the hell you want to call yourself, um, you know, put that on yourself, and keep that to yourself, you know, take it back to wherever you come from, you know, but don't put that on everybody else. You obviously haven't studied long enough because, number one, if you go on uh, any of these reservations here on the East Coast, you're going to see a whole lot of high melanation. Okay. And you're going to tell them that they're not us when they look the fuck just like us. Shut the fuck up. You sound goddamn stupid. Okay. And this is what happens when you have people who don't practice the culture. Okay. You're not connected to anything. Okay. And in some of the follow up videos to this, I'm going to show you just how much the fuck you don't know. Okay. When we go and we take a look on some of these reservations, and I'll show you how goddamn stupid you sound. Okay. But anyway, pardon my French or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so yeah, that's one of the comments. Then we had somebody else who says, let's see here. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Think. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay. So one person says, hold on, let me make this a little bigger so that I can see it. Okay. One person says, I think that due to our people being used and abused by our own as well as others makes us standoffish about the Moors. Being that we know the history of the Moors, they are synonymous with dark skinned Europeans that came here, sailed, and navigated the sea. So, with that being said, the youth are putting two and two together. Wait, hold on. Hold on 1 second. It says the youth are putting two and two together and putting two and two together. Not all Moors are bad, but we can't negate the fact that the Moors created or helped create masonry, which has proven to go against our people and hide knowledge and truth. Everybody wasn't a Moor because I, everybody ain't Muslim, and two, everybody ain't part of a seafaring nation. Through my research, the Washita are a group of aboriginals that the Moors came here and have married in with them. I'm not saying you haven't done plenty of research, Elder, but what I'm saying is that the people you are describing are in history doing a lot of wicked things, and they are definitely a part of colonization in America. Not every Moor was bad. It sucks that all have to be ridiculed for some Moors acting, but it is what it is. All Indians ain't saints either. So we have to be open minded, honest, and truthful. So if you know that, then you know what's with the hypocrisy because you're contradicting yourself with everything that you're saying in that statement. Okay. You know, if you know that all Moors were not bad, I could say the same thing about Indians. What you say, okay, you're talking about Moors and the Freemasons and this, that, and the other. First of all, it was the American Indian Freemasons, for the most part, who coerced their tribes to relocate onto reservations. Fact. Okay. And I'm not going to go back and revisit that because I already presented all of those documents. Okay. So I debunked that foolishness already. Okay. Go back and with this is number 22 in the series. Go back and look at the videos. Okay, and you'll see where I debunk that as pure trash, pure nonsense. Okay, I already debunked that. All right, so we can move on further from that. Okay, and you know, you're saying that a lot of people are putting two and two together. The youth are putting two and two together um, because the Moors helped create masonry and blah 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 blah. First of all, what you call European masonry, okay, Freemasonry number one is older over here. If you know and really have done any thorough research, Freemasonry is older here in the West than it is over in the East. Okay, maybe you haven't been studying long enough to find that out. See, this is where the difference in years of study comes into play. Okay, You haven't been studying long enough. So, of course, you don't know that. All right. But I think I tackled that already as well. Again, this is number 22 in the series. So you got to go back and look at the other videos. I already debunked that, so we could kill that noise. Uh, and you say, uh, people hiding the truth and stuff like that. Um, give some evidence to validate what you're saying, because it's just a bunch of hearsay. Where are your sources? Okay. Say everybody wasn't a Moor because I everybody ain't Muslim. Number one, not all Moors were Muslims. Okay. If you studied deeply enough, you would know that a lot of the Moors, you had Moors from a whole bunch of different backgrounds, you know, and a lot of those Moors, especially if you're talking about, see, you're talking about, you're only talking about one specific group of Moors. Number one, even if you're just talking about the Moors over in Europe, number one, or even the Moors in Spain, a lot of them were Hebrews. Okay, what about them? Okay, you see what I'm saying? But see, you haven't been studying long enough to know that. Okay, and you say through your research, the Washita were a group of Aboriginals that the Moors came here and have married in with them. Okay, number one, obviously you haven't studied much about the Washita, because number one, the Empress said that they are Moors, they are Aboriginal Moors from Mu. They are Aboriginal Moors, Muurs, from Mu. Okay, akin to, these are her words exactly. Okay, Moors from Mu, akin to the Moors, Moors, from Africa. Okay, akin to, via the Malian Moors who came here under Abubakari. Okay, so you haven't really done a whole lot of research on the Washita. Okay, because that's what she said. Okay, uh, what else is in here? Yeah, okay, so we pretty much debunked, debunked that. Okay, let's take a look at something here. I want to show something. We're not going to be too long, because I know a lot of people are with family and stuff like that, so I'm going to be respectful of that. Give me 1 second. Yeah, exactly, PNF. And want to take a look at something here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna share the screen. See, I don't like to talk. I like to, show those receipts. Okay, let's see here. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Uh, how do I get this out of the way? Bear with me, y'all. Okay. That. Um, we're going to take a look at an image. Bear with me. Just pulling up this image. Computer is a little slow. Okay, share screen. Share screen. Let's see. Okay, so this right here is a mohawk. You rarely see, now there's two drawings of this particular mohawk. One of the drawings shows him with more European features. But this rare one right here, it's not as easy. You find the one with the European looks in a whole lot of books, but you rarely see this one. Okay? And you look at his features. Okay? It's just like what you would call today, what they would call today a African American. Okay? Again, I said what they would call. Okay? And look at his attire. Okay? Very Moorish. Okay? Very Moorish looking. And two, uh, Montezuma, the Aztec ruler Montezuma. Okay, when they described Montezuma, they looked at him, they looked at the people, they say, wow, these look just like the people that we left over in Spain. Okay, so, one can talk and say, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah about Moors, but, the proof, you have to prove what you're saying. Okay, you have to prove it, let alone Meredith Musa Quinn, the Dakota elder. Okay, I want to pull his words up. See, because that shut all that nonsense down. Let me stop sharing, and I'm gonna pull that document up. Give me 1 second. And we're not gonna be long, okay? Not gonna be long. Probably be about 10 more minutes. And I'm sorry for coming on late, but I had an emergency in the house that I had to attend to, and that pushed the schedule back. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, it's there. Let me cue it up. Let's see here. Okay, share screen. Okay, and this is coming from my Olmec Renaissance, my old publication. Okay, and oh, I quote from the book Dakota Time Walkers, which is an out of print book. Okay, and these words are coming from a Dakota Indian, and he's what they would describe today as what they would call a full blood, who has the mongoloid, what they call in anthropology mongoloid features, blah blah blah. You know, this is not someone who you know looks like myself or anything like that. You know, this is coming from what they would call a full blood. Okay, what they would call a full blood. Okay, and these are his words, not mine. Okay, and I'm gonna quote from him, and I'm reading from my publication here. One second. So it says, what is even more compelling is the words of a Dakota Indian named Meredith Musa Quinn. Okay, notice his middle name is Musa. Okay, and he said his parents and grandparents purposefully gave him the middle name Musa because of the Moorish connection. Okay, and he said people who knew about this stuff, they say they rounded up all of those elders who had this type of information and were killing them. Okay, so even a lot of uh, Indians on the reservations don't even know this information. Okay, because the people that had this knowledge, most of them were killed off. Okay, but the Moors have this information. Why do you think Noble Drew Ali said he was a Moor? Okay, even though it is said that he was raised by Cherokees. Okay, so anyway, Meredith Musa Quinn. Quinn said that his middle name Musa was given to him by his ancestors in honor of their Moorish heritage. Quinn also states that the word Moor is not African in origin. Ooh. So that shuts down a lot of that nonsense. You got people running around here talking about you Moors, you're not indigenous. You know, You hear that foolishness all the time. And that's from people who don't study. You know, ask them how many books they've read on the Moors. And they really can't say because they haven't read any. Okay. They're just talking shit. Excuse my expression. Okay. And again, this is coming from a Dakota elder. Okay. The late Dakota elder because he's deceased. He passed away, years ago. Okay. So he says that the term Moor is not African in origin. Okay. And you got these fools who keep nonsense. They keep saying, you know, the Moors come from North Africa. You guys are African and blah 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 blah, and you sound like a damn fool. And you know, we could tell that you haven't done a whole lot of studying because I can basically tell just by what comes out of somebody's mouth what their level of research is just by what they say out of their mouth. When they say things like that, I know they haven't read too many books about the Moors. Okay. I got a whole bunch of books on Moors, a whole bunch of them. Okay. This is just one out of many. Okay. And so let me let that hang. Quinn states that the word Moor is not African in origin. According to Quinn, the Europeans stole the term Moor from the Indians, and that the Moors were a tribe and an empire from America. Body bag. Body bag. Okay, that's a one hitter quitter. It's what they call a one hitter quitter. Okay, that shuts down every debate and every argument right there. That shuts it down. Okay, because this is coming directly from the horse's mouth. Okay, this ain't some street corner scholar, some Negro on the corner talking about I'm Aboriginal. Okay, this is coming directly from the horse's mouth. Okay, what a lot of y'all want to be. Okay, he says that the white man stole the word more from the Indians so he could. Wait a minute, let me. Oh, I skipped that. I skipped a sentence. Okay, so he stole the word more from the Indians, and that the Moors were a tribe and an empire. You got people who believe ignorantly believe that Moor is just a descriptive term. Okay, yes, it is a descriptive term, but what a lot of ignorant people don't know, and ignorant just means that you don't know. Okay, but what a lot of ignorant people don't know is that when you look up a word, words have many meanings. Okay, so you guys didn't grow up with dictionaries. You know, you the searches coming up, we had actual dictionaries. Okay, and you had a dictionary, and you flip the pages, and you read, and you had to, when we were in school, we had to copy the definition, and we had to copy all of those entries and the parts of speech, the noun definition, the adjective definition, the verb definition, and all of that. Okay. And a lot of y'all today, y'all don't understand that. So you think that a word just means one thing, and it doesn't. Okay. You're just running with, oh, it's a descriptive term. Yeah, fool. But did you know that it also has to do with nationality? Okay. What about the Mauryan Empire? Okay, people are saying they were never a people. Okay, well, before I get into the Mauryan Empire, let's still deal with Meredith Musa Quinn, the Dakota elder. Okay, and he says, and I'm gonna read it again. He says the Europeans stole the term Moor from the Indians, and that the Moors were a tribe and empire from America, not Africa. See, you guys are the real Pan Africans, really, because you're so stuck on Africa, you can't see Moors being from anywhere else but Africa, because that's where your mind is orientated. Because you probably are African yourself, realistically, you know. And I'm gonna say this, anybody who attacks Moors realistically has got to be an agent. Anyone who says Moors are not indigenous, you got to be an agent. Let's just call it what it is. You've got to be an agent, realistically. Those are enemies. Gotta be. Gotta be an agent. You're an enemy. Okay, because your whole paradigm comes from the Moors. It comes from the Moors. I got all the documentation to prove that. You see, because I'm old enough. You see what I'm saying? A lot of y'all weren't even born yet. Okay. I got all the newspapers and the articles and documents and stuff like that to prove what I'm saying. Okay. I got all that proof. I can show receipts. Wasn't no abos or nothing like that when I was coming up in this. It was just Moors. Okay. And again, that's not to say that there weren't individuals who had business peace. We were indigenous here, this, that, and the other, but that was the extent of it. You ain't had the deep science. Okay. So getting back, because we're gonna close out in about 5 minutes. But it says here the Moors were a tribe and empire from America. On page 102 of Dakota Time Walker, Quinn says it would stand to reason that he stole the word Moor from the Indians so he could hide the true word for a culture, language, a people, and an empire. Again, he says an empire. He says a people. He does not say a description. He says a people, a language, an empire. That's what he says. Huh? Let's go to real school. Okay. Talk to me. If he did, it would have to be for a damn good reason. And then Quinn shows a drawing of he even shows a drawing of a Moorish flag still preserved in the British Museum today, and the Moorish outposts in the Pueblos in New Mexico. Okay, let's see. I don't like to talk. Let me show these receipts. I like to show receipts. I like to show receipts. Can't just get up here and talk and run off at the goddamn mouth. Y'all see that? Okay. This is an image that's still in the British Museum today of a Moorish flag and the Moorish outposts in the pueblos. That's body bag. That's body bag. That's a one hitter quitter. I'm gonna let that hang for a second. And as I let that hang, I'm gonna get another source. Give me 1 second. I'm coming right back. But I want y'all to just take a look at that image as I go get another book. Be right back. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that right there, we got it. So again, I want y'all to take a good look at the image. That is the Moorish flag or a Moorish flag and the Moorish outposts for those who are just joining in. This particular image comes from the British Museum. It's still in the British Museum today. Okay. And it is evidence that the Moors were an actual people here in the Americas, indigenous to the Americas. Okay. And that in that image, it shows the Moorish flag. Not the It's not the Moorish flag that Noble Drew Ali bought, but it is a Moorish flag. Okay, and Moorish outposts in the pueblos. Okay, and let me scroll up a little bit. Like I say, that's a one hitter quitter right there. That ends all debate right there. Okay, and here what I'm showing is further proof to reinforce that. Oh, I also say in the publication here, yeah, it should be quite clear now that the term "more" is very ancient. Well, it's very ancient and did not originate with the Greeks, as some people ignorantly continue to say. And I've also established evidence that the Moors, that evidence of the Moors in ancient America. This information is an excerpt, yeah, from my book. Okay, and I also show the cliff dwellings. Let me make this a little bigger. This a little bigger, even more bigger, and even more bigger. Okay, let's see here. Let me move over. Can y'all see that? Okay. Now, Here I have the Anasazi cliff dwellings in New Mexico. And right next to it is a picture of the cliff dwellings in Mali, West Africa, of the Dogon. Look exactly alike. Okay, so that's further evidence of what Meredith Musa Quinn was saying. He says the Moors were right there in that same area. This is what a Dakota Indian was saying! God damn it! Right there! A Dakota Indian. What you call a Mongoloid and what the European calls a full blood. He said the Moors were a people and an empire right in the Pueblos. Here in North America. And here we have the Anasazi cliff dwellings right next to a picture of the cliff dwellings in Mali, West Africa, looking exactly alike. Not only that, but in my class, in those slides in the class, I can say this is, I haven't put all of the information out there, but in my class, we go even deeper into even the details of these cliff dwellings to really bring it home. Okay. Uh that Dakota's name, Anpo, is Meredith Musa Quinn. I see y'all just tuned in just now. But yeah, what I was saying before, his name is Meredith Musa Quinn. And what I said before y'all came in was that his elders purposefully gave him the middle name Musa because of their knowledge of their Moorish ancestry. He said they purposefully gave him that. He said his parents and grandparents all got together and gave him that middle name so that that information could be preserved right in his name. Okay. Yep. Meredith Musa Quinn. And when we look a little bit further down here, all right, let's look at some more details here. And I there's even in my class, I show even more details. But when you look here, I want you to take a look at cross in disc symbol. Okay, you see where my arrow is? See where my arrow is? Can y'all see that? That cross and disc symbol. Now this is in Mali, West Africa. This is the cliff dwelling in Mali, West Africa, right here. Now, here is an American Indian powwow dancer. And you look on his head right here, look at that. The same exact symbol. You see that? Body bag. I already had a one hitter quitter, but now this is a nail in the coffin. Thank you, sweetie. Nail in the coffin. Okay. Nail in the coffin. Okay. See, when I do it, I like to bury a motherfucker. Excuse my expression. I go in, you know. I go in. You know, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it right. You know, I don't like to give a motherfucker no wiggle room. Excuse my expression. I'm just kind of because I get tired of people coming in my comment section with that foolishness. I really apologize if there are people who are listening who are offended about my speech. I really gotta apologize. Hopefully, I'll go back and I'll edit, you know, some of that language out. You know, but I'm just tired of, you know, the foolishness, you know. But again, see, you see this right here in West Africa because what a lot of these people keep forgetting is that was an empire. Okay, I keep telling people, Noble Drew Ali, his chapter 47. I mean, he laid it all out right there. I mean, you got people out here who's trashing Noble Drew Ali's name. I mean, how many people brought it like that? I mean, chapter 47. How many put uh put a one up in the chat if y'all who in the chat is familiar with chapter 47. And I'm not gonna ask you any questions about it. I just want to know if you're familiar with chapter 47 of the Holy Quran Circle 7. Put a one up in the chat. Chapter 47 is if you really understand chapter 47, because on the surface it can be misunderstood, but when you really decode chapter 47, then you really know what he's really saying. Okay, and you got to look at things from more than one perspective. you know uh there's even, you know when the prophet was on the scene, they didn't have the science of DNA. Now you can say whatever you want about DNA, but it's just another tool. Of course, that has its limitations if you don't really know how to break down that particular science. We have people that we deal with that is trained in that field, okay, and they know how to really look at the DNA evidence, and they know how to properly interpret the data, okay? But there's DNA evidence to back up what the prophet was saying, okay? So when you look at these things from multiple angles and everything is lining up, then that kills all arguments, okay? That kills all arguments. You see what I'm saying? So what I want to do now is the empire. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. And even before that, actually, yeah, before we do that, I want to scroll up a little bit because it's something I forgot to mention. Oh yeah, yeah. Here's another one. like I say, this is just a tip of the iceberg. I mean, I got a whole bunch more. I got a whole bunch more stuff and evidence. Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me find this part. Oh yeah, a lot of people are not gonna like this. People are not gonna like this. Okay, so here we go. Now again, don't get mad at the messenger. I'm just presenting the evidence. Okay, let me share the screen again. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Okay, share screen. Oh wait, no, that's not it. Give me 1 second. I'm finding this document. I mean, this piece we were just looking at. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Don't go anywhere because it's gonna get good. Hmm. Where is it? It's supposed to be. Oh, I think this is it. Okay, so here is a linguist. This is a linguist, and this is also I'm quoting from my Olmec Renaissance publication. And this linguist named Pate Diane, he is a university professor in the USA and West Africa. Okay. He's a specialist in African languages and cultures and has studied the pre Columbian Americas. His studies led him to the conclusion that for millennia, Africans have colonized America next to Oceanic and Eurasian people. The Africans called America Tirana. And though I disagree with his migration pattern regarding the origin of the Maya people, he points out some enlightening information with regards to the term Maya and Mara. Okay. Xavier Segun, in an article entitled Tirana, Black America, says Pate Diane derives the point America, I'm sorry, no, American black natives called themselves Mara or Morones, not blacks. This is their name, Mara or Maya, which named the Mayan people. This is their name, Marana or Moroni, which is the origin of the word maroons or nigger maroons. I reference Diane's book to point out the linguistic connection he makes between the terms Mara and Maya. And it is true that Africans have traveled back and forth to the Americas, setting up colonies and trade. However, this is long after Americans traveled to and colonized Africa as well. Okay. And he goes on, it's a long article, but the key points is the comparison with the terms Mara and Maya and maroon. So even in the term Maya, you got more in that. Mm, body bag, body bag, body bag. Okay, body bag. And PNF says if L and R are interchangeable in, I can't see that. Pardon me. I'm supposed to be wearing reading glasses, but I refuse to. I want to exercise my eyes. Interchangeable in, it looks like it says Hispanic, then maybe Mali is really Mari. Good observation, PNF. Good observation. Good observation. Right. Yeah, because when you yeah, that L and that R, sometimes they're pronounced the same. Yep. The L, when you listen to certain Africans speak and people from different countries, they're interchangeable. That's a very good observation. Now we're not going to be too much longer. I'll say about 5 more minutes. I want to talk about the empire. So people say that Moors is a descriptive term and they weren't an empire. Put a one in the chat. Oh man, we got bright eyes in the chat. Hey, teeny bear. Teeny bears in the house. Hidden truths. Lots of distorted info out there for many years, intentionally to keep up from, or to keep us from connecting the dots. Never too old to learn, peoples. Yep, exactly. Yeah, got bright eyes in the house. Yeah. So you got people who say that the Moors is a descriptive term, you know, and people get stuck on stupid with that because they've heard it. You know where all this stuff comes from, realistically? I'm gonna be totally honest with you. If you go and you do your research, you're gonna see that I'm correct. All this stuff started with the Pan Africans. That's where it started from. Go and do your research. You'll see it's the Pan Africans who started bashing the Moors first. And a lot of these people who are making these criticisms, they're I ain't say it. Sacred Grove. Peace to the Sacred Grove. I didn't say it. It start, but I mean, you go back and you watch, and you'll see those. That's where it started. You know, and even before Sonetta, you know, that's where it started. With the Pan Africans. So a lot of y'all, you know, that's where they come out of. A lot of these people who are calling themselves, you know, um, Aborigines and you know, Black Indians and stuff like that. A lot of them came out of Pan Africanism, and a lot of them, you know, carried that same mentality over into the whole Indian thing. Okay, so if you're anti-Moorish, you're really a Pan African. That's what you are. So anyway, I want to take a look at So put a one in the chat if you're familiar with the Mauryan Empire. The Mauryan Empire. I'm gonna spell it for you and put it in the chat. Many of y'all are familiar with the Mauryan Empire. Sacred Grove is familiar. Okay, so we got one person who's familiar with the Mauryan Empire. So in India, so-called India, you had what they call the Mauryan Empire. This is documented. I didn't make this up. Okay. And when you do your research, you can go and you can trace the people and you can trace the bloodlines, and you're going to see that the Mauryans go back to the Jats, go back to um, Egyptian, goes to the Amorites, okay, the Amaru, okay, and where is Amaru? Who was Amaru, and where was he from? Okay, when you can answer those questions, then you're gonna see. Okay, but a lot of people don't study. A lot of people don't study that deeply. Okay, thank you, Sacred Grove. Thank you, Sacred Grove. Okay, so now let's take a look at another document. Oh, okay, hold on. Even before I do that, Told you I got so much evidence on this Moorish thing. I got archives of information on the Moorish connection to the Americas. Like I said, you know a lot of the information, I don't put it all out there at once because people take the information and distort it. You know, so I have a class, a whole class where I really come with it, with stuff that nobody's talking about. But anyway, even before I present the next document, I want to show this here. I want to show this image. I want to show this image here. So that's good. I got people who are in the house who are watching the Red Road East instead of cooking turkey and pig with cranberry sauce. So this is the Mohawk. This is an image of the Mohawk flag. Okay, and remember I showed the image earlier of the Mohawk. Okay, and I'm showing this as further backup of the fact that that image from earlier is a true representation of those early Mohawks. Now, I'm not attacking the current day Mohawks. I don't want anyone who's, watching to, feel that I'm attacking the current day Mohawks or anything like that. I'm just showing early representations of Mohawks. Okay. Now, when you do your research, you're going to find out that even that hairstyle right there is Moorish. Another subject for another time. Okay. Even that hairstyle is Moorish. You see? So I just wanted to show that right quick. Now I'll share the document about Moors being an empire, because some people believe, and it's a shame you have to overkill with the information, but you still got people who don't understand that the Moors were not just a that Moor was not just a descriptive term, but it also applied to a people. Okay, so that's what I want to show now. Okay, let's see here. Is this it? Okay, that, that. Okay, share. Okay, here it is. All right. So this is a document here Let me make it a little bigger. Can y'all see it? Okay. So this is a document from the early 1900s. Okay. And I'm going to read it. It says Morocco. Mr. Philip, charge of affairs to Mr. Root, Secretary of State, August 3rd, 1906. Okay. And it says, there are, strictly speaking, no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. 460 Citizenship of the United States, expatriation, etc. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire, by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. Let's back up. You see, I even highlighted it. Does everybody see that? Y'all see that highlighted? Okay. Does it say various Christian countries and the Moorish description? Moorish description? And the Moorish description? And the Moorish description? No. Moorish Empire. Various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire. One hitter quitter. How many one hitter quitters? I mean, is it, I already shut it down at the beginning of the lecture, but I mean, uh, that's why I say anyone who is bashing Moors has got to be an agent because there's too much information out here, okay, to substantiate the fact that Moors were in fact an empire and in fact were a people, in fact was a nationality, and in fact was indigenous, were indigenous to the Americas. Okay, I mean we've shut it down. I mean, you know, broken down to its very last compound. You know, let's read on. Empire, Moorish and the Moorish Empire by means. Let me make this a little bigger because I'm struggling with this here. Okay, by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. But as I understand from the above acknowledged instructions, that it is not the desire of the department to call for a report upon such lines. I therefore confine these remarks to general conditions existing which may possibly be of some use in connection with the information desired. 1. Citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure as Moorish subjects. 2 and 3. Moorish subjects lost their nationality by becoming naturalized in or protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moorish description, with the Moorish description. Does that say description there, anybody? Of with the Moorish description having treaty relations with the Moorish Empire. Empire. So anybody that comes to you with that foolishness and says that the Moors is just strictly a descriptive term and was not a people, tell them where to go. Okay? Tell them where to go. Because we hit them with so much tonight, and I'm about to close this out in a minute. You know, we hit them with so much tonight. I mean, there is no coming back from that. What else, like what else is there to argue about? You know? And when you talk about more, you got to remember chapter 47 of the Holy Quran Circle 7. It lays it all out. That chapter is golden. If you really understand how to, what he's really saying in that, you know, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful chapter, you know, and you know that right there is your deed to the land, you know. You know, I mean, he lays out the dominions of the Moorish Empire. You know, it our dominions was over here and it extended across the Atlantic. So now you got these people who want to just localize us, okay? But the ancient ones, you got to remember, the ancient ones were all over, okay? And you got people who erroneously believe that, oh, this is another part in one of the comments in my comment section. Somebody said, not all of us were seafarers, okay? When somebody says stuff like that, when you say that, we weren't seafarers and not all of our people were seafarers, did y'all actually put a one up in the chat if you knew this? Did you know that when you say something like that you're actually subscribing to a Eurocentric ideology, so-called white supremacy? How many people in the chat knew that? Put a one up. You're actually saying that you're inferior and that the Albion is superior. That's what you're saying. You know why? Because when I was going to college, this is what they said. They said, and this is actually what they teach, American Indians and Africans were not considered to be contributors to the origins of civilization, in terms of bringing civilization, that is, because they were never a seafaring people. Let me say that again. They said that Native Americans or American Indian, whatever you want to call it, okay, whatever you call it, they're specific in meaning, you know, the people who are from here originally and the people who are from Africa, okay? They say that they were never bringers of civilization because they were never a seafaring people. I didn't make this up. You can go and you can read, you know, uh, uh, study history books. You know, this is common knowledge. This is what they say. Okay, so when you say things like not all of us were seafarers, what you're saying is that you're actually a damn a heathen. You're saying that, you know, you're backwards. You know, you're not civilized. That's what you're saying. You're a booty scratcher. You see what I'm saying? So you got to be careful of got to be careful with some of these ideologies that you subscribe to. Okay, when you say things like that, you're saying that you are inferior when you say that, you know, your people were not seafarers. Okay, and so on that note, I'm gonna close out. And it was really nice building with everybody. And I know y'all have to be with your families and stuff like that. So, man, it was a blast. But, you know, to be continued. And also, before we close out, I want, you know, if y'all can leave a donation, I left in the chat where you can leave a donation via Cash App or PayPal. I'll put it up again. Give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, if you scroll up in the chat, and remember, you know, no donation is too small. No donation is too small. You know, um, anything is appreciated. So via PayPal, it's Akira Love 07 at gmail.com. And Cash App, I'm gonna leave that as well as K $ K Love 83. So both of those I put in the chat, you know. But I hope I was able to give y'all some tools to be able to defend your position when these people try to say, Moors are not indigenous and Moors are not a nation or people, and they're just a descriptive term, you know, which is nonsense. Straight up nonsense. And if there's anybody in the chat that I didn't get to shout out, I apologize. And do another I'll probably do another live tomorrow. Probably I'll try to do it early. Try to do it like maybe like around early afternoon. But I'll post it in the community page, on my YouTube community page. Okay. And yeah, so that'll pretty much wrap it up for tonight. And I thank everyone who came out. And on that note, I'm gonna say peace. Do da da. Go home.